Welcome back. We were trying to see how these ions are sorted in the magnetic sector or magnetic deflection kind of a mass analyzer. So what happens is because of the electrostatic lenses which are there, these different types of ion fragments which are generated, they will be deflected in the field. Okay, the positively charged ions and the negatively charged ions will be separated from each other. They will go towards the respective electrodes, positive towards the negative electrode and negative ions towards the positive electrodes. Okay, and then we have the slits which will try to, which will allow the ions of a particular type to go past the slit or enter through the slit and go to the detector. So let me share with you the whiteboard so that I can explain you this concept very clearly. Okay, so this is a very schematic representation. Okay, the ions are generated here. Okay, and then these ions are going to come out into this tunnel. Different types of ions are there, and here we have, for example, the positive electrode and the negative electrode. Okay, so the ions which are these are the different types of ions which are generated. Okay, and then I'll also put the charges on them. Okay, so if this is negative, this is positive, double positive, this is single positive, this is double negative, and a single negative. Okay, so single negative, but this is a heavier mass. Okay, so heavier particles will tend to go a little slower. Okay, and the deflection will be lesser, and the deflection for this will be more. So let me again show with the arrow that this particle will be directed toward the positive electrode. Okay, this also will go to the positive electrode, but just a minute. Okay, but the speed of deflection will be less because the size of of this ion is more. Okay, so let me show you. If the velocity is more, I will show it with a double arrow. Okay, so double arrow indicates that it is a the speed of movement is more rapid for this particle or this ion. Okay, then what about this? This is again a negative ion, but it has double charges. So double charges means that it will go to the electrode still faster. Okay, so I show it with triple arrows. Is it correct? And the positively charged ions will go to the negative electrode. So this one here will go to the negative electrode, and I'm showing a double arrow because the charges are more. And then this I will show with a single line because it has only one single positive charge. Okay, so that is how the different ions will be deflected. And then what we have is here we have an entrance slit. Okay, entrance slit is there. Now the different types of ions are going to come out through the entrance slit here, and then we have a detector here. Okay, so here we have the detector. Is it right? Can you all understand my diagram?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
although my drawing may not be very good. Okay, so let me put the text here. this is the detector, right? And this is the slit, okay, from where the ions are going to come out and they will fall on the detector. Okay, so now what I can do is I can vary the voltage. I can vary the voltage, and because of that, the kinetic energy of the ions will be varied. I can adjust the velocity of each different type of ion by varying the voltage, okay, or by varying the electric field. So what will happen is, if I want, for example, this type of ion to come out from the entrance slit, I think this ion will come out first because it has double positive charges. Okay, so double positive charges will come out first. But if I adjust the voltage, then this type of ion, instead of going to this side towards the negative electrode, I can, if I vary the speed, if I make the voltage a little lesser, then the velocity will be reduced, and therefore this particular ion will not be deflected to a greater extent towards the electrode, but it will come out of the slit. Okay, so what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to vary the electric current or the voltage, and therefore I'm going to allow these particular ions to come out of the slit and go to the detector like this. Is it okay? And then when I still vary the voltage, then after having collected these types of ions, then I will probably target these ions and then allow them also, just a minute, allow these ions then to enter into the slit and go to the detector. Okay, I hope you can follow this particular type of representation. Okay, so different types of ions, by varying the voltage, I can allow one by one the different types of ions to come out of the slit and go to the detector. And the detector is going to detect these ions. Okay. Then coming back to my original presentation, what I have written here is the same thing which I have told you. To obtain the particular spectrum of the different types of ions from that particular compound, the accelerating voltage or magnetic field is successively swept past the detector slit at a known rate, and therefore these different types of ions will be collected from the slit and onto the detector.
सर न्यूट्रल आयन नहीं हो सकते क्या?
हाँ,
अगर न्यूट्रल आयन हो गए तो?
Neutral ions are not considered here. They will be allowed to drain away. Okay, they are not allowed to go to the detector. So when we do the sorting, we are actually allowing only preferably the positively charged ions to go to the detector. In fact, negatively charged ions are also not allowed to go to the detector. They will be drained away. Okay. The best information about the compound is obtained from the positively charged ions. So positively charged ions are allowed to go through the entrance slit into the detector. Okay. Yeah, so this is the representation of the magnetic sector analyzer. I'll make that diagram a little bigger. Okay, so you have a ionization source here, and that will allow the gaseous molecule to the sample is here. The black color thing is the sample, which is held on a probe. If maybe it is a wire or something which is dipped in the sample, and then the sample is evaporated at a certain temperature, and it will be converted into the gaseous phase. And then this gaseous phase sample is allowed to go into the ionization chamber, where the electron beam will fall upon the sample and the gas will be converted into ions. Okay, and then these ions are all allowed to go through this magnetic deflection analyzer. Okay, and because of the magnetic force or because of the electrostatic charges, it could be both. Okay, the different types of ions are deflected to varying levels, varying degrees, and only a certain type of ion is allowed to pass through the slit into the detector. Okay, so by varying the electric voltage, one by one, the different ions will be allowed. If they are all positively charged, then they will be allowed to go to the detector one by one. And if at all, if they are neutral or whatever other types of ions are there, then they will not be allowed to pass to the slit, because it is the voltage which will control the speed and the focusing of the ions. Okay, so they will be actually focused on the slit, and therefore they will go to the detector. And then from the detector, all the data is recorded, and then it will come out in the form of a spectrogram rather, right? Then there is another kind of a mass analyzer, and that is called as a time of flight spectrometer. It is also called as a TOF analyzer. Okay, TOF mass analyzer. So here what happens is the principle is very, very simple. Ions are formed in the form of discrete ion packets, and these packets are pulsed via acceleration slit. So what essentially we are doing is we are giving some acceleration to the different types of particles which are formed, or different types of ions which are formed. And because these ions have different masses, each different packet will go to the detector at a different speed, okay, depending upon their masses. So those ions which have a bigger mass, they will go slowly, and those ions which have a very small mass, they will go very rapidly towards the detector. So essentially we are separating the ions on the basis of their mass here, okay. And therefore usually this particular analyzer consists of a long tunnel or a long tube, and that tube is called as a flight tube. Okay, can you see this word here, flight tube? Okay, so this is a long tunnel, and through this tunnel the different types of ions are going. They are accelerated using electron beams, okay, or electrostatic lenses. And based upon their mass, the smaller masses will go first, and the larger masses will go little later. And one by one, the ions in the form of packets, they will go to the detector. So this can be related to the electrophoretic system. Okay, just in the case of SDS page, the different types of proteins will get separated on the basis of their masses, isn't it? So exactly the same thing is happening here, but this particular device is called as a flight tube, or a time of flight kind of a mass analyzer. Okay, so I'll go, yeah, this is a schematic figure that will help you to better understand it. This is the actual instrument here. This long tube is the flight tube, okay. And in this flight tube, what happens is, if this is a MALDI plus TOF together, MALDI you already know, okay, matrix assisted laser desorption ionization. So here we have a protein sample. Okay, protein sample is in a matrix, and then we allow the laser light to fall on that matrix, so that the sample will be converted into the vapor form, and it will go into the gaseous state, and then it will be ionized, okay, at the same time. And then these different ions, we have bigger ions, we have smaller ions. Smaller ions will move faster, okay, and they will go to the detector first, and the larger ions will go to the detector last. Okay, largest ions last and smallest ions first. Is it right? Same thing is also shown here in this colored schematic diagram. The concept remains the same. Whichever figure you like, that you can use it for your preparation or understanding. Is there any question, any query? Okay, this is another diagram showing you the, essentially it is showing the same thing. Okay, so don't worry about the different types of figures I'm putting on the slide. It is for your own understanding, whichever is more easier for you to understand, and it attracts your attention better and solves your queries, then that diagram you have to refer to. Okay, there are two types of detectors. One is called as the electron multiplier. This is exactly the same thing what we have already seen in the case of atomic absorption spectrophotometer or UV spectrophotometer, okay, fluorescence spectrophotometer. So these ions which are striking the electrode, the ions are converting that into secondary electrons, and these electrons are going to create an electric current. That electric current is measured by the detector. Okay, so more the ions which are falling on the detector, higher will be that electron flow and higher will be the current. Okay, so every time there is a pulse of current or there is a peak of current, that will indicate that a particular type of particles have been detected by the detector. Okay, and that of course will depend upon the mass of the particles. Another kind of a detector is of course a photographic plate, which is a time integrating device in the sense that if you allow that plate to be there, or if you are going to allow the ions to fall on the plate for a longer time, then it is going to give you a more intense signal on the plate. Okay, so here what happens is the photographic plate is exposed to the ions. When ions fall on the plate, then that will cause what is called as reduction of the silver halide, which is there on the photographic plate, and therefore the color will change. So we get black coloration because the Ag or silver will be reduced there, and the black color spots will indicate that the ions have fallen on that photographic plate. Okay, so that is also a very sensitive technique. But nowadays, people are not using the photographic plate, but they go for other types of detectors, such as the electron multiplier or PMT. We have already seen photo multiplier tube, but here we are not using the photon. Okay, there is no light radiation here. It is only the ions which are falling on the detector. Okay, so it is called only as an electron multiplier. It is not called as a photo multiplier tube. Okay, this also we have already seen that the system requires very high level of vacuum, because if atmospheric air is allowed to enter the chamber or the system, then that will create some problem with the analysis. Okay, so this is again some example I have already shown you with the help of the methanol example. So I will skip this. I have told you about the tandem mass spectrometers, so that also I'm going to skip now. And I think that is the end of my presentation. Yes. Okay, so that completes this topic on mass spectroscopy. So if you have any questions, I'll give you about 2 or 3 minutes or 5 minutes if there are questions. And if there are,
Sir,
yes.
sir, this technique separation on the basis of only sir charge or mass?
Mass to the charge ratio.
Mass to the charge ratio.
Yes.
Okay.
Electrophoresis was charge to the mass ratio, and here it is mass to the charge ratio. Okay. Any other question? Then I also want to tell you about tomorrow. I'm not really very sure whether I'll be able to engage the lecture tomorrow, because tomorrow I'll be traveling from Nasik to Aurangabad in the morning, early morning. So if I reach there on time, normally I reach by about 10 or 10:30, but I do not know tomorrow's situation because of the lockdown situation here. So if I reach a little later, then I may not be able to engage the lecture. So in any case, I'll let you know about that only at say after 11 o'clock, 11 to 11:30. Okay. And by 11:30, 12, if I'm not giving you any message, then it means that I'm not going to engage the lecture. So it doesn't really make create any problem for us, because in the next 2 days, that is day after tomorrow, probably I am going to complete the topic about CDORD spectroscopy or atomic force microscopy. So in any case, by Sunday, okay, by this Sunday, I will complete the spectroscopy unit. Okay, and then in the next week, that is starting from Monday to maybe Friday or Saturday, I should be in a position to complete the last unit, that is radioactivity. Okay. So I think
Yes.
I'm confident that the syllabus will be covered by the end of this month. Okay. And if not by the end of the month, then I'll take additional only 1 or 2 days in May. Okay. By 1st May, I think there is a holiday. So on 2nd or 3rd May, I will be definitely able to complete the complete syllabus. Okay. If small things are remaining somewhere, so if some points are missing, which I have not covered in the entire paper, then you can just remind me about it. And that also I'll try to cover up. Is it okay? Then after,
Yes, sir.
after 3rd of May, maybe one or 2 days, I'm also going to take your internal test for the remaining topics. I have already taken the test for 2 units and there are 3 units remaining. So I'll try to manage that also. Okay. And plus over and above, I also have to discuss with you about the practical also. So we'll just have a look at the timetable again. If there is any modification in the university timetable for the exam, then according to that, I will decide about your practical discussion. Okay. So if your exams will take place as per the schedule, then after this exam, theory exams, I will discuss about the practical. And if your exams get postponed again, then with whatever extra time we get, then I'll try to manage discussion of the practical before your theory exam. Okay, so it all depends upon the availability of time, right? So don't worry. Of course, the complete syllabus will be over. That is not a problem for us. Is it okay? Any queries? Any queries about AAS, AES, and mass spectroscopy, MS?
No, sir.
Okay, so if no questions, then I'll end this meeting. Okay, bye everybody.